I didn't wake up suddenly. It was the sound that pulled me out of sleep slowly, like it didn't want to scare me awake. A single doorbell chime, soft, polite. For a moment, I thought I was dreaming. Then the silence that followed felt too real. I reached for my phone without sitting up. The screen burned my eyes in the dark. 3:17 a.m. Not 3:16, not 3:18. Exactly 3:17. I remember thinking how specific that was and how wide awake I suddenly felt. No one rings a doorbell at that hour, not by accident, not without a reason. I told myself it was probably a malfunction, old wiring, power fluctuation. Still, my heart was beating like I'd been called by name. I stayed in bed, staring at the ceiling, counting my breaths, waiting for something else to happen. Footsteps, a knock, a voice. Nothing came. The house settled around me like it was pretending to be normal. I thought about checking the door. I even sat up halfway, but the idea of seeing someone standing there, or worse, seeing no one at all, kept me frozen. Eventually, exhaustion dragged me back to sleep, but I didn't dream. The next night, I didn't forget. I went to bed expecting it. I kept telling myself I wouldn't wake up again, that whatever it was had passed. The doorbell rang anyway. Same sound, same softness. This time, I checked the clock immediately. 3:17 a.m. My stomach dropped. Once is coincidence, twice is not. I lay there, wide-eyed, listening to the dark like it might explain itself. By morning, I convinced myself it still wasn't serious. People ring the wrong house sometimes. Drunk neighbors exist. But something about the timing bothered me. Who rings once and never knocks? On the third night, I didn't sleep. I lay there watching the clock change minute by minute. Every second felt stretched. 3:15, 3:16. My chest tightened. The instant the clock flipped to 3:17, the doorbell rang. Not a second late, not a second early. Perfect. And that's when I knew whatever was ringing it was waiting. That morning, I pulled up the doorbell camera footage. I told myself I just wanted peace of mind. To see a raccoon, a glitch. The footage loaded. At 3:17 a.m., the camera flickered, then froze. The clip skipped ahead on its own. 3:16:59, static. 3:18:02. There was nothing in between. No motion detected, no visitor logged, but the doorbell had rung. I showed the footage to a friend. He laughed it off, said the system probably bugged out. I laughed too. I didn't tell him the system had never failed before, not once. That night, I left the bedroom door open. I told myself I wanted to hear more, to catch it, but I didn't realize I was already preparing, like prey that knows it's being watched. At 3:17 a.m., the doorbell rang again, but this time it didn't stop. One chime, then another, slow, patient, like someone waiting for permission. My body refused to move. I stared at the hallway, half expecting a shadow to stretch toward me. The ringing stopped. I didn't breathe until it did. In the morning, I checked my phone. There was a notification from the doorbell app. Visitor acknowledged. I hadn't touched anything. That day, I felt watched, not paranoid, not imagined, like the house had learned my routines, my pauses, my silence. I caught myself whispering when I was alone. That night, I set my phone to record the hallway. At 3:17, the doorbell rang. The phone kept recording. When I watched it back, the hallway was empty, but the audio captured something else. A breath, not from outside, from inside the house, right outside my bedroom door. I checked every room in the house, closets, bathroom, under the bed, nothing. But when I returned to my bedroom, the door was closed. I never close it at night. As I stood there, my phone vibrated. A voice notification. I hadn't enabled voice detection. The audio played automatically. It was my voice, whispering my name. I tried to remember recording it. The memory felt smudged, like a thought I had almost had. The timestamp said 3:17 a.m. I had been asleep, or at least I thought I was. That afternoon, something was wrong with the hallway. The walls felt closer. The switch was on the wrong side. I told myself I was tired, but houses sentences don't rearrange themselves. That night, I whispered toward the door. "Who's there?" The doorbell rang once. I hadn't touched anything. It answered. I sat on the bed waiting. The next thing I knew, it was morning. My phone showed 7 hours missing. The doorbell app showed activity, repeated activity. I forced myself to watch the footage. At 3:17, the camera turned inward, toward the hallway, toward my bedroom. I was standing there, smiling. I don't remember smiling. I don't remember standing, but the thing in the footage moved like me, too smoothly, like it had practiced. A note appeared on my phone, typed in my notes app. No timestamp, no author. It said, "Do not open the door. Do not acknowledge the bell. It learns faster when you're afraid." The doorbell rang again, not from the door, from my phone. I woke up to sunlight. For a moment, I felt relief. Then I saw my phone. The date was yesterday. The same unread notification, the same battery percentage. I hadn't moved forward. I started predicting things. The neighbor's car passing, the dog barking, the news headline on TV. I whispered each one before it happened. That's when I understood. This wasn't déjà vu. This was repetition. At 3:16 a.m., I stared at the clock. My breath shook. 3:16, 3:16. It wouldn't change. The second hand twitched like it was stuck in glue. The doorbell rang, but there was no sound, just a vibration in my bones. The house hummed like it was alive, waiting. I looked in the mirror. It blinked. I didn't. It smiled. I didn't. "Stop fighting it," it mouthed. The mirror fogged from the inside. I tried to run. Every door led back to the hallway. Every window showed the front door. The house had only one destination now. My phone glitched. Minutes stacked on top of each other. 3:17, 3:17, 3:17. The screen cracked without falling. I screamed. The sound echoed, delayed, like it had to ask permission to exist. Then I heard it. My scream from yesterday. A thought appeared that wasn't mine. "You're not trapped. You're being practiced." Every loop felt smoother, like training. The bell rang again. This time, I didn't flinch. That's when I realized I wasn't scared anymore. And that's exactly what it wanted. The house went quiet. No hum, no ticking, no breathing. I missed the sound. That scared me more than the ringing ever did. I didn't look at the clock. I already knew what it said. 3:17 wasn't a moment anymore. It was a place. The ringing felt routine, like brushing my teeth, like breathing. My body reacted before my mind. I stood up. I whispered my name. It echoed back, wrong, shorter, like pieces were missing. I tried again. Nothing came out. Memories drifted in without order. I remembered the door. I remembered the bell. I remembered standing here, but I couldn't remember why any of it mattered. I looked in the mirror. The reflection looked calmer, older, like it had been here longer. It nodded at me in approval. The hallway lights turned on by themselves. A door unlocked, not inviting, expecting. I didn't ask who was there. I didn't ask why. Questions felt unnecessary. This was how things worked now. A strange comfort settled in, like finally doing what I was made for. Like my place had always been here, waiting. As my hand reached the knob, one thought flickered. If I open it, who stays behind? The bell rang again. The door opened easily, too easily, like it had been waiting for my hand. The porch was empty. No shadow, no figure, no sound, just the night and the bell. I stepped onto the porch. Cold air brushed past me. The door stayed open behind me, watching. Every light inside shut off at once, not flickering, not fading, gone. The house didn't need me anymore. Footsteps echoed from the hallway, slow, careful. They sounded familiar. I turned back toward the doorway and froze. Someone was standing inside, holding the door. Same face, same eyes, same fear, but his looked new, untouched. He stared past me into the dark. I felt the door close behind my back. The bell rang again. I was inside, standing in the hallway. The clock blinked. 3:16. My phone buzzed. A missed call from my own number. The bell rang again. 3:17 a.m. And somewhere outside, someone was knocking for the first time.